I actually begged my mom. It's so bad. I had her dress me up as Reagan, like for Halloween. I wanted my makeup to be like super elaborate. And I was only like 8 or 9 years old. For some reason, like me in makeup in like horror, like in as Reagan, like I felt top of the world and, you know, like really excited to put this makeup on. But really it started with my mom and my grandma like showing me Carrie and Poltergeist and all those films. My name is Mary Rosas and I'm a beauty and special effects makeup artist. I love horror, so everything that you see behind me is things that I've collected throughout the years, and also things that were given to me from working in various projects. The poster that I have is from when I did the show The Boys. I worked on a lot of the intricate pieces that needed to be made for all the suits. I have a lot of books that are special effects related, but my one book that I'm really proud of and actually was somewhat emotional when I got it, and it's funny to say, but it's my Rick Baker book. It's like the Bible of makeup effects is what they say. Rick Baker has inspired me so much to do what I do. One of the things that I love to do is paint. I paint a lot of figures, and it's something that I kind of picked up after being in the shop for years. I started painting a lot of different 3D printed pieces. I think my talent is that I can look at a piece and say I'm given a picture. I'm able to color match. Being able to do different textures and different techniques like spattering or vein work. I really enjoy doing intricate detailing. I've been doing makeup primarily. At first I started with beauty makeup. I would say since 2008, 2007, 2008. Because I started doing makeup, I was like, I want to learn something more. I want to challenge myself. There has to be more like in makeup. When I first started doing special effects, I took a class in college, and I had a teacher, which he passed away now, unfortunately, but he was doing a lot of theater makeup. And at first I didn't want to take the class. I was kind of like hesitant, and literally when I first got into that class, I felt this is it. This is what I want to do. There was a class within the theater class that was special effects. It wasn't supposed to be there. It was kind of like an extra activity class. And I knew of makeup and I knew of, you know, special effects a little bit, but I didn't know the steps or how to do any of it. So in that class, I stayed overtime to take that class. So it was a lot of mold making, casting, and extra stuff. The teacher was a little hard on me at first, and he was like, you know, I know you can do this. I know that you have the passion and the drive. You can do this. Just do it. And like, you know, he would get mad because, you know, there was times where I would do things wrong, you know, because I was still learning. And he's like, you know, just keep going, like keep doing it. Like, it's gonna be fine. You know, I went through that class. I still kept interested in makeup effects. I said, how could I get into it? Like, I didn't have any type of connection in the film and TV industry. I had to figure it out on my own. First I saw like that show Face Off. I loved all the makeups that everyone did. And then I heard one of the girls talk and say, you know, I work at a special effects shop. And I heard the word shop and I took that in and I said, what's a shop? So I thought a shop was a store. I had no idea what it was. When I saw that episode, I went on Google that day and I Googled special effects makeup shops in LA. And the first one that popped up was Almost Human, which is Robert Hall's makeup effects shop. I was only like 19 when I was doing my research. So I was still like again, figuring it out, how to get in. And I emailed the shop, and I asked, like, what could I do to work there? Like, I didn't know how to, can I be an intern? Can I, and yeah, they brought me in. My first start was at Almost Human with Robert Hall and in their shop as an intern, starting from the bottom. So I was like sweeping up the shop, cleaning, like wiping down windows, like just, doing whatever I could do to basically learn. Like there was already established artists at the shop, so I was trying to make a name for myself and try to figure out, like, how am I gonna get in and make friends with these people, or how am I gonna break through this industry. 5 or 6 months into working as an intern, I had an opportunity to go to an actual shoot, my first shoot on set, which was for Teen Wolf season 2 for MTV, the TV show. So that was really cool. I was able to get my hands-on experience being on set, even I think I did like 10-12 hours. That's what started everything. I didn't get paid for my first internship. I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard because of my beauty industry background. I was still doing like makeup on the side, and I was doing that to make money because I was chasing my dream to be an artist, a special effects artist. I swear it was like 7 years trying to make ends meet, doing the free internships at different shops. I finally landed my first paying job with Dapper Cadaver, and that was like a prop shop that did a bunch of different props for either film and TV or haunts. And for me, that was like what I thought was like my big break, right? I was able to quit the jobs I was doing, my beauty makeup that I was doing on the side. I worked with them for a good, I wouldn't say like year with them making props, and I was like in heaven. I was like, this is cool. I make monsters all day and get paid for it. Then COVID hit. Then the shop threw a big bomb on us saying that they were gonna move to Wisconsin, and there was a time where they said, like, either you move with us and we'll like take you with us to Wisconsin, or basically take a severance. For some reason, I felt like that was like the end. Being an intern for such a long time, and then I finally get my break in like doing, like making props, making monsters for money finally, right? And then for all that to be taken away was like really hard. I decided not to move forward and move to Wisconsin. So I said, I'm just gonna take the severance. And when I did take the severance pay, I was like in a mind of kind of figuring out what I was gonna do next, right? So with the severance, I actually decided to start my own makeup line, and it's what I have now. It's Monster Babe Cosmetics. It's a horror inspired line that is made for women or men that love horror and love to have that self-expression. It's basically my two things in one that I love. It's horror and makeup. This is a design I created. It's inspired by Chucky, but it's Good Girl lashes. And then this is like my lipsticks as well. I mainly started it as a passion project, and I never thought that it would get as big as it did. I started off with just 50 pieces of inventory. I would sell out in the first hour. It was a cool moment for me and my brand. That was like kind of like my side project while special effects pick up again. I was in the midst of starting my makeup line. I then was like, okay, I need to get back on doing makeup effects and working on getting into shops. As an artist, you get a lot of imposter syndrome and you always think, am I good enough? Like, am I able to do this? Like, am I able to make a creative career out of this? And that's always, something like an insecurity that some artists have. And I'm going to be honest with that. But there was a moment where I said, I shouldn't be that way. I worked so hard. I worked all these years to get to where I'm at now. And with all the experience and the knowledge that I have, and I was able to kind of like teach myself all these things and learn from a bunch of talented people. I can do this. So what I did is, I remember it was like a Saturday morning, early in the morning, like 6 a.m. I email blasted like 5 different shops, like big shops in LA. I sent my resume, my portfolio, and I was like, I have to get an answer from at least one. I got an email back from Tony Gardner, and in the email it said, are you available for a job interview possibly today? And it was like a 2-hour gap from where I was at to get to his shop. I was on a treadmill when this was happening, so I jumped off. I was like freaking out. I was like, Tony Gardner wants to interview me today. I was like freaking out, and I said, yes, I'll definitely go today. I head to his shop, and it was just exactly what I thought it would be. It was like monsters everywhere, like just a dream. Like I felt like I was in a dream. Like I met him, and I was already a fan of him. I was a fan of his work. He's done Return of the Living Dead. He's done a lot of iconic movies, and he's such a humble guy. And being interviewed with him was just, I don't know. I just was so like starstruck the entire time. After our initial interview, he just said like, well, you're willing to start like as soon as possible? And I said, yes. And he's like, yeah, well, we're gonna be working on Hocus Pocus too. And I was just like trying not to show my face like that. I was so excited. He's like, yeah, like we're also doing Chucky season 2, and he really wanted me on board, and I was like really excited about that. And I was at another shop at the time, and it wasn't really the ideal situation for me at that time. Put in my 2 weeks at the other shop. I was now at Tony Gardner's shop, and it was crazy that I was gonna work next to him. I mean, he's done like even like the first Hocus Pocus in the 90s, so he is an icon. And I feel like from there, that's where everything kind of started. The project that I'm most proud of is Chucky season 2. It was like just a dream to work on. And I was already a fan of Chucky, and I loved all the movies. I was, doing a lot of the silicone work, like the silicone seaming on Chucky's hands. I painted his shoes. He needed like 20 pairs of shoes. He was a animatronic, half like puppeteered animatronic. So that was like a really iconic moment for me. And also Hocus Pocus too. I mean, just the fact that I was like, there was a moment when Tony and I were like kind of standing in front of a bust of Doug Jones, and Tony would always tell us stories about how the first Hocus Pocus was, and how he styled the hair for Doug Jones, for Billy Butcherson. So it was a lot of like that, history basically. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that opportunity that Tony gave me. I consider him my mentor, and he really helped me grow as an artist. Even when I think that I have things like kind of put together, and he just says, well, look at it in this light, things like that. And he's really like an amazing artist all around. I recently did the Monster Palooza this year, and I brought in my friend Chelsea and Caroline, and they helped me with bringing my vision to life, really. And we did a whole prosthetic look that was inspired by, it was like dark Disney inspired. Monster Palooza is usually like a place where there's just a bunch of artists. We show each other's work. We do it because we love it mostly, right? We do it because this is our passion. This is what fuels us. This is what we do for a living. It was super cool to see everyone's reactions, to see what we made. You know, even though it was my project, I saw it as all of our project. We made it to entertain people, and that's basically what it is and what Makeup Effects is. I'm basically a woman of color in a male-dominated industry. I want to really tell my story because I want to inspire a lot of women that are also women of color that are trying to get in this industry, how to, you know, try to, you know, do makeup effects. Let me be an example of starting from the bottom. It was really hard to work for free for such a long time because I saw a vision, and you know, you're gonna have, you know, people tell you, why are you working for free, or where do you think this is gonna take you? And I got a lot of that, but I never let that stop me. I always tell my sister and my brother, I want to be that person to say that you can do it, and I'm proud to be a woman of color in this industry. And I see more and more very talented, amazing women in this industry, and I think this should continue. To see more of my work, to see more of what I do, and to see more of Monster Babe, you can follow me at Mary_Monster. And then for Monster Babe Cosmetics, it's at Monster Babe Cosmetics or www.monsterbabecosmetics.com. I value this industry so much. I'm excited to make more monsters, do more movies, more, you know, TV shows, things like that. And yeah.